maybe I can take some questions or something. Maybe questions will come later. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, Suzanne. You did a good job. I liked the fact that you pointed out this sort of differences that groups that approach from the human rights standpoint or indigenous rights standpoint had with environmental groups. Because there were some major environmental groups that were interested from the very beginning. Everybody knows their names, and even Greenpeace and Rainforest Action Network, amongst many others, Forest Ethics. The list goes on. Amnesty International, a human rights group, involved from very early stages, and having one person available to come and facilitate various discussions and bring people in to talk. Craig Benjamin, a good supporter, having what they understood to be where the struggle was, and where local supporters were more in touch and more on the ground, face to face with people in the community. There was some differences, and that's to be expected, even if it isn't publicized. We tend to want to present a united front on these issues, but it's important to sort through the differences in order to make the support mean something, to make it valuable. As Suzanne pointed out, taking direction was primary. That was from the very beginning. That was how things had to be done. In the past, well-meaning, groups had, in various other struggles, had approached, and they had lots of experience, and communities might have had less experience in campaigning, and probably really took over the campaigns that they were engaged in, and drove them, regardless of what community members necessarily wanted. We thought we couldn't do that. In fact, even before we started the group, we were looking into the history of Indigenous solidarity groups, and wondering, in Canada in particular, what happened to those other groups? Where did they go? Why did they only last for a few years? Of course, we knew that this would be over in a couple of years and everything would be fine. But we were starting. But we thought we better get ready for a long haul. The name Friends of Grassy Narrows actually comes from Friends of the Lubicon, another struggle that had gone on for 30 years. It's the fights go on because the people involved in the communities are there, and the outside interests that are wanting to rob them of their resources are always there. And when one group might achieve a kind of victory, a seeming victory, let's take Clawfoot Sound as an example, where Macmillan Bloedel was removed from the equation. A lot of through various consumer campaigns, boycotts, etc. There's an example of newspapers stopping to take their sourcing from Clawfoot Sound, but in turn taking their resources now from the Whiskey Jack Forest. So the New York Times, the Winnipeg Free Press, etc. happen to be the major newsprint producer in the world. So as Suzanne said, a major shift is necessary. One thing we've repeated over and over is we can't continue to have economies where the wealth of the few is based on the suffering of the many, or based on the destruction of another culture. That is massive, and it requires massive structural change.